I did want to go back to some of the things you were talking about, because when I did post that photo saying you should be the head coach for KU, a lot of my followers are Chiefs fans. And a lot of them are from Kansas and Missouri. And there were some people from, I mean, they live in Independence. And I guess when I posted this photo, all kinds of claims were made. He recruited me and he was changing jobs every year. Seems sketchy. I used to work in the dorms. There were bad things happening. He cursed at his players. I lived in the city. I attended games. I mean, all these people who allegedly know you very well, they know all the terrible things you did, but for some reason you came out a couple of months ago and you announced that these charges have been dropped. What's your response when people claim they know you or they know someone who knows you and that they've seen or heard you do all these horrible things that you've never done?
That's my whole thing. Ignorance is life threatening, man. People make the assumptions, make assholes of us all. I mean, you never met me, and then you going, like, for people to talk to you saying stuff about me is how that's even to me like even worse. Like, first of all, you never met Coach Brown, but now you're talking to me about what you know about him. Like, how do you know this? Like, it's unbelievable. And I like I said, man, it makes my dick hard, man. I laugh like a motherfucker at the shit. I laugh at it. It's like you going out your way to fucking make assumptions of someone you've never met. Like, to me, that just is, you're like the bottom. You're the biggest bottom feeder I've ever seen. And there's millions of them out here. There are these people that make these fake names on Twitter, and they got to live with these fake, they're Johnny 757489789 and they got one follower. And it's like, you're talking shit, bro. So who are you really? You're the guy, you're someone else that follows me that you didn't want them, you didn't want me to know. And it's just funny as hell, man. I really find it comical. Like, you're going out your way to assume some shit about something you have no clue about. Like, to me, the thing that really, if it was so true, why are my players only thinking and raving about me instead of bashing me? Why haven't you seen those guys bash me? Especially like the guys that I got through the process that are out there about to get drafted or certain things. Like, why are they not talking shit about me? Why haven't you never seen that? Like, that's what's crazy to me. And then people they're so quick to judge, shit they see on social media without ever really digging deep and turning over rocks and finding out, like, oh man, damn, these guys really talk about Coach greatly all the time. Maybe there's more to it. Let me go find out before I just start putting my foot in my mouth and saying Coach Brown yelled at his players in the dorm. No shit. I think Nick Saban yells at his players in the dorm too, you fucking idiot.
Well, and you were talking about this newspaper, and I know you put out a statement. It's pinned on your social media, if I'm not mistaken. I think the newspaper you were referring to, the Montgomery County Chronicle, they wrote a statement saying, I don't know if you saw that. I'm sure you have. We are disappointed we did not have our day in a court of law to tell our story and to show how one person used fraudulent means to attempt to silence our profession. I mean, I see you chuckling right now. Like, again, like, there are people that truly believe you did these things and they're accusing you, or they're saying they know you did.
Oh, I know. Never met me. I know. This is the crazy part. So here's a lot of people don't know this, and I should have did it on my own podcast, but I didn't because it doesn't really make me none, I guess. I just don't really get off on coming out telling everyone my story because everyone forgot about this whole charge shit, if you haven't noticed. No. The whole Hitler statement thing was bigger than these charges. I heard more shit about that than I did these charges.
Can I say something real quickly about that? Because I'll be honest, like, the first time when I watched that, I was like, whoa, that's not okay. Right. And then when I went back and rewatched the series, in that same episode, you're calling him that nickname, and the student doesn't seem like bothered by it. I'm like, oh, they put this in there, but people forget about that part. So
yeah, well,
that's forgotten about.
People they don't show the deleted text, and they don't show him coming and introducing himself to me for the first time and calling himself that. I'm Hitler. So when that's happening, and then he's walking around with the Mein Kampf book, and I have video and pictures of it, and then he's going around and everything's all good, there was no issue. And then all of a sudden, when basically I was saying, I'm your new daddy, motherfucker, come here, I'm still trying to help your ass, after you were creepy sneaking in the girls' dorms, creepy sneaking in the girls' weight room, walking around doing the fucking salute down the hallway, cussing out teachers and dorm women in German, then I call you my new daddy, and then the world goes crazy. But nobody knows the real, and it gets taken out of context, and then no one knows the truth, and then all of a sudden, oh, you're this, you're that. Well, they cared more about that than these 8 charges, because I think the real recognizes the real and was like, hold on. If you really did the research on these 8 charges, number one, I'll give you the whole story. Number one, I'm still in Independence after I resign. Okay. I'm there for 2 more months selling my home. I leave my house there. I lived in Independence still, even though I didn't go around there. I would go to Tulsa more. I lived there. Cops knew where I lived. The judicial department and system knew I was there and lived there. Everyone knew where I lived, obviously. In a town of 9,000, I'm the head coach on a Netflix series. I think they fucking could find me there, right? I leave finally, pack my shit, sell my home, move to LA, move back home, bought a new house. I'm here for 2 more months in California. My agent calls me, JB, you have 8 felonies charged against you. I said, really? Whatever, shut up. And I go about talking about some other shit. He's like, no, JB, seriously. It's on Facebook. I said, it's on Facebook. I said, are you fucking with me? He's like, JB, they charge you with 8 felonies in Independence, Kansas, and I found out on Facebook. And I'm like, really? That's how they charge you nowadays, on Facebook? And I'm laughing about it. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. It's a mistake, whatever it is. I said, I just left Kansas. I've been there the whole time. So when the charges come out, though, it states that it happened in January or February or whatever. Well, I was still on the job, A. B, I was still in Kansas 3 more months after so-called these allegations. So why didn't you ever arrest me, charge me, book me? What happened to the judicial process here?
That's interesting.
So, because it was a fucking witch hunt and a joke, and it was a fucking sham. And I can't talk about the rest, but I can't wait to get my day. So the rest of it is I come home, I get this information, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. This is crazy. So my lawyers are like, dude, you got to turn yourself in, or we're going to call and figure this out. I'm like, what the fuck? I said, you got to be joking me. So I did a video on Instagram. It's still out there, a live video saying, listen, I know, because now Football Scoop, all these different media outlets are hitting me up because it got wind of that, and now everyone's blowing me up. I'm literally buying furniture for my new home, and my fucking shit's blowing up that I have 8 felonies. So obviously, anytime you hear these things, whether you're innocent or not, it puts a foul mood on you, and it puts a cloud over you, and you're sitting there thinking, okay, what the hell's going on here? Why are these people still out here trying to screw my life up after all I did for this fucking town, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there like, okay. So anyway, long story short, and a lot of stress later, and a lot of money later, and a lot of fucking missed job opportunities later, and a lot of lost income later. A lot of things, if you notice, are adding up here for later on in life when I grow up. I'm going to keep an even keel. I'm going to figure this out. So I flew to Kansas, turned myself in. Nothing even happened. They still didn't do anything. They pushed the court date, whatever. So anyway, 2.5, 3 years later, I still had never had a court date. I still had never really got to tell any side of my story. I still, I'm still in shock of the charges and still have yet to hear from anyone about why they charged me, how they charged me, and for what they charged me and the reasoning behind it, other than trying to fuck my life and make my life miserable, because this was a witch hunt. And when you Google these 8 charges, you guys should go Google these charges that they charged me with. Do you know if I walked in there tomorrow or during the time and I said, you know what? I am guilty. I did all this shit. Do you know the maximum sentence that I would serve in jail was? Take a guess.
A year?
A year. A fucking year on 8 felonies? Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
That's what you were trying to get me on 8 felonies for, to do a year? If I were to say I did it. That was me. Like, you got to be the biggest slap in your taxpayer money ever in the state of Kansas. Like, it's a joke. They went through 2 DAs, by the way, during this time. And the attorney that, come to find out, I think this all happened through was a coach of mine, disgruntled, that I fired, who had access to my computers because that's what he did for me when I was on the road. Obviously, he also used to watch Stogie, so he had access. It's real ironic. He lost my house key and my office key as well as my car.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it's real ironic. Then they find out he had 8 Twitter handles that were bashing me for years. Like, it's all funny. It's all weird how it all worked out, right? So anyway, I believe he was in cahoots with this news reporter guy that hated me. And then what happened was, when the whole Hitler kid thing happened, it was actually a teacher that grabbed that from him, took that to CNN, ESPN, Fox, and that's when it blew. They were the ones that blew it up. By the way, this was a teacher that I had pulled a black kid out of her class because she had my black student athlete in the corner, facing the corner, like he was on timeout in 2nd grade.
Yeah, you shared that before.
Probation era. Yeah. Jim Crow South or something. So it's ironic when I told her, you're a horrible teacher and probably the biggest racist I've ever seen as a teacher. And then it's crazy that she turns this thing in and calls me a racist. Like, it's funny as shit. So it's just crazy how people are and can be, man. And
yeah,
it's a world. It's a crazy, some people, man, just thrive for seeing other people fail while they've done nothing for nobody.
Or themselves.
Yeah. Because they're bottom feeders, man. They're
exactly.
They're just waiting for someone to flounder way. They use their 10 minutes of fame to try to float to the top and then end up being ate by the shark anyway.